know why they cut my video. Wow. It says your video has been removed from YouTube. Whoa. What did I do? Wow, guys, they removed my video. Let me see. I'm gonna see what this message is saying. Something about community guidelines. I hope this is not a strike. Wow. What on earth did I do? Oh, snap. I wonder if it has to do with the fact that I said I was gonna. All right, so I'm gonna try this again, you guys. Thanks for being patient and bearing with me. I really appreciate you bearing with me. So I'm hoping it was because of the music. Let's see if it was because of the music. So, all right. All right, so this is my second effort to bring you some research done by a fellow herbalist of mine. Maybe I should omit certain words just in case, just as a precaution, as a precautionary measure, because I do not want my video to get deleted again or taken off of YouTube, okay? So, ESME, she's a fellow herbalist friend of mine, and she put together some really good research to show you how to get rid of the common cold or upper respiratory infection. Okay, that's what we're gonna call it. The common cold, the upper respiratory infection that is freaking everybody out. This is some key research. Now, last week, I promised you guys that I was going to deliver this. She had given it to me last week, but I had already had my live video. So this week, I didn't get to pre-record. So I'm just going to read this to you because she and I are planning on doing something together that I'm going to get a chance to post on here. But because of her work schedule, I wasn't able to do it in time for this Wednesday 9 a.m. time slot. So please forgive me again that the video got, my previous 9 a.m. video got removed by YouTube, okay? Anyhow, she has some very good information here about this upper respiratory infection. And the first thing she wants you guys to know is that this type of it starts with a V, right? It is not a bacterial infection. It is starts with a V, ends in an iris. I don't know if that word got me knocked off of YouTube or what. So we'll see. But anyway, she says that this thing needs a biological agent like you. It needs a host. It needs your cells. It needs your cells in order to implant itself and in order to be duplicated. And the example that she used is like someone in an office at a copier who uses the copy machine and makes copies. That's what it needs from you because it cannot replicate itself. It cannot duplicate inside of you. It needs you to be able to do it. But because it starts in your upper respiratory system, it needs specific temperatures. Let me go to the introduction about the nose. She said that usually they start in the nasal passages and in your throat. And it begins having a party in there, and people, share their germs through touching, sneezing, coughing. Whether this is voluntarily or involuntarily, they share their germs. And so she said that What are we going to call this? We're going to call it the culprit. The culprit is extremely fragile. This culprit is extremely fragile. She says it is remarkably fragile. As a matter of fact, its cell, the cell of this culprit, is remarkably fragile. And she said upper respiratory infections can chill for 3 to 14 days, sometimes evolving into more serious conditions, such as a sinus infection or pneumonia in your lungs, water in your, not water, but fluid in your lungs. Even though they can survive easily for weeks to a couple of months at temperatures near or below freezing, these same culprits tend to die within a couple of minutes when exposed to higher air temperatures. So this is, guys, this is the research that she put together over a week ago for you all. And I'm sorry that I didn't deliver it before now. She said that there's a book called Conquer the Common Cold by Dan Lee Demke, and he speaks on this in great detail. So she said what stood out was his method for getting rid of this invading culprit. And she says, depending on the stage you're in, there is a procedure that works almost at once, and it is the end result. And it is the best relief in the world. And this procedure is called the cold arrest procedure. This procedure, which is trademarked by name, the cold arrest, is what was found in Dan Lee Demke in his book, Conquer the Common Cold. So this procedure, instead of disguising the symptoms, it encourages recovery as soon as the symptoms withdraw, and it is safe enough to use on children. It's safe enough to use on kids. She talks about how the temperatures where she lives is really warm because she's from the Caribbean. So it's hard for the culprit to survive there. I'm just looking to make sure that I'm not getting any more messages about violations. It can't survive there in the warmer temperatures, guys. The reason that it spread like wildfire in China in December is because the temperatures were like 39 degrees Fahrenheit. So it thrived there in the winter. It does not like heat. It is extremely fragile when it comes to heat. So let me skip down. She said your nose regulates the temperature of the air you breathe. Your nose processes the air in preparation for your lungs and your throat. It does not like dry air. When you inhale, the air is moisturized and humidified. Your throat feels dry when you've been breathing through your mouth for too long. Your throat and lungs don't exactly enjoy air that's too cold or hot. So it's regulated to body temperature by your nose. I'm laughing because of her style of delivery. I'm going to see if she'll let me put this out so you guys can read it from her point of view here. Let's see. So I'm going to get down to, let me skip down. Nose exposed to air. There are certain cells that line your nose, your inner nose, and your sinus cavities. And which are situated behind your cheeks and nostrils. These cavities, these nasal cavities, are often nearly as cool as the outside air you're breathing throughout the colder months of the year, or if you're in air conditioning in your office or in your home. So, but when the outside air temperatures rise, so do your sinus temperatures. If it gets too warm for the culprits, if it gets too warm in there for the culprits to reproduce, then they quickly evacuate. Like she said, they're not even waiting for no eviction notice. They evacuate. So she said there was another pandemic, and it started with S, and it rhymed with cars. When that pandemic happened, the lethal outbreak suddenly ended when the temperatures rose above 72 degrees Fahrenheit. So guys, we may not see an end to this until summer or late spring or summer. Okay. That's what this is telling us. I hope you guys are getting the gist of this. This is all about this culprit needing warm temperatures to survive. It needs warm temperatures to survive. Okay. Let's see. Oh, also she says that the warmer air holds moisture, which prevents airborne culprits from wandering as they would in dry air. So in humid conditions, the small liquid droplets in a cough or a sneeze gather more moisture as they leave, ultimately getting too heavy to stay airborne. They take a seat on the floor. So she says there are many studies that show that most upper respiratory culprits are easily killed in less than 15 minutes at 56 degrees Celsius or 133 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so, and then she lists copies of different studies here. And I'm gonna post these. I know I always take a long time when I say I'm going to list something in the description below, but this time I'm going to put this in the description below right away because this is her research and I cannot fumble anything that she trusted me with. Okay. ESME, thank you so much for allowing me to share this with everybody. All right. So let's see. As your culprit was slowly heated in a lab, researchers observed that the bacterial outer membrane began to rupture, and within minutes, it fatally collapsed and was incapable of recovery or any further infection. And she says, I know you're thinking, is this for real? Can I really destroy unwanted culprits with the application of mild heat? Yes. In all caps, yes, period, she says. But what about the fever? So the human body, when infected with a severe virus, attempts to do this on its own by producing a fever. This natural heating response is enough to begin measurably slowing down the culprit reproduction rate and providing valuable time for the body to begin making antibodies and alerting the defenses of the body, the defense mechanisms in your body. Okay. So she said, you know, I tell you to go spend some time in the sun, but I know this video, well, she's intending on doing a video. I know this will not only be seen by my Caribbean people. So here's a shortcut for those of you stuck with snow. If you're stuck with snow, you may have this tool or you, let's see. Oh, okay. You may have this tool or You may not if you're single or living by yourself or there are no females in your family. But this tool can create same temperature that is fatal to the culprit. What is this tool? It is a hair dryer. Now, this is my insert. I have seen a video circulating. Actually, it hasn't gotten much circulation, but I did see it in one place, which is a very popular place, and it tried to say that all of this is what did it say? It tried to say that this information is false, but we're hearing a lot of reputable doctors speaking about the temperatures that this culprit cannot survive. In fact, it cannot survive the heat. Now, doctors are saying this, so I have a hard time believing that it's false, that you can use heat to destroy this, okay? So she says, a hair dryer. The goal is to heat your sinus cavities to the temperature that will reduce symptoms while killing the invaders. So you're going to enhance your natural benefits of an external heat source, okay? This is what she's saying here. You're going to do something that the body is not able to do on its own, which is heat your sinus cavities to a temperature that's fatal to the culprits. All right. She says she's tried this and it has helped immediately. She couldn't believe it. This was just something that she didn't put this in the report. That's just me talking because of her personal message to me. So let's see here. Because your sinuses are at most only a few centimeters from your nostrils, this is easily accomplished without harm or risk to you by simply breathing in hot air. Thus, the coolest part of your body now becomes the warmest part of your body in this now hostile environment. Invading culprits almost literally, let me read this correctly. The coolest part of your body now becomes the warmest part of your body. And in this now hostile environment, invading culprits almost literally melts. I'm sure you're asking yourself, can we survive exposure to these temperatures? She says, our humidity is that temperature. And on some days, it's more. So for people who live in cold climates, I'm sure at some time or another you visited a dry sauna, you have a hot shower, and she says you reach and you pass those temperatures, okay? So a sauna, a hot shower, right? Breathing deeply for just 20 minutes in a hot sauna will kill a high percentage of any culprits that happen to be invading your upper respiratory system. Most people experience a feeling of almost immediate relief. However, because some individual, never heard this word before. Because some individual culprits may be temporarily shielded from the direct inflow of hot air by natural obstacles within your sinuses, a few of them might manage to survive and later reproduce, which may allow an infection to continue. But fortunately, you have a mucus layer that covers the inside of your sinuses, and it doesn't remain stationary. So because of this, it's constantly forced along by a gentle wave motion of tiny hair-like cilia. See, she's getting scientific. So I know y'all gonna need me to break this down. It's growing from your sinus walls. In other words, your mucus coating and any microbes that are trapped inside of it will eventually slide backward down your throat. And then once that happens, once this culprit gets swallowed up by the mucus, lining and it slides down the back of your throat, it ends up where? It ends up in your tummy. And what's in your tummy? Plenty of stomach acid. And the acid will destroy it. Make sure you have healthy stomach acid, okay? Everybody is so busy trying to be alkaline that they forget you need acid in your stomach. Do not forget that. Alkalinity is very good. Culprits cannot survive in an alkaline environment, okay? And I used that word to cover a different word that starts with the letter D and ends with ease. So culprits cannot survive in an alkaline environment. However, do not become fanatic and forget that your stomach needs a certain amount of acid in order to digest properly, okay? So, let's see here. Let's see what else she's got here. Just 20 minutes in a dry sauna above 140 degrees Fahrenheit is enough to kill most of this culprit within your sinus or your sinuses. So let's see here. Let's see if there's a, that's the gist of it. I'm at almost 22 minutes. Thanks, Andrea. I'm going to tell Esme that you said thank you. I'm sure she's going to see this. Thank you so much. I appreciate you watching and supporting. In the other video, I was trying to say that you and your family, I hope you all are doing well, Andrea. And I said you guys have a really good defense there with your black seed oil as well, you know. So you got a handheld blow dryer. You can try that. She says that it can be safely used even if you have a fever. Okay, so let's see. You want to heat your target area, which is your nose and sinuses. And you want to, and the blow dryer can do that much more quickly than a sauna will. She said this is going to be simple self-administered therapy. And this is known again as the cold arrest procedure. All right. And she reiterates that this was first proposed in the book, Conquer the Common Cold and Flu. Okay, so this is a different book. This was first brought out in that book, Conquer the Common Cold and Flu. It was published by Future World Press in 1984. All right, guys. Hey, Edward. Oh my gosh. Hey, Tyrone. I'm so glad you guys are checking in. Okay, this video is long, but it's basically talking about how to use heat to get rid of the you-know-whats. Okay, my first video got snatched down off of YouTube, and I don't know if it was because of my music or if it was because of the V word, the CV word. I didn't use the C word, though, because I know better. I'm so glad you guys are here. So there's two books that she referenced that talks about a cold arrest procedure. And you can use a simple hair dryer, or you can go in a sauna, or you can go in a steamy shower, and you want it to be pretty hot in the shower, like as if you were kind of in a sauna. Also, you can use a blow dryer for a little bit to kind of get rid of what's going on in your nasal passages. Okay, so it's really, it's something that's really, really simple that we want to use. Let's see. Oh, okay, here we go. We got a number 1 and a number 2 and a number 3 and a number 4. All right, here is the procedure. All right. In view of the dire situation we currently face with infections in dozens of countries and thousands of fatalities, here is a detailed description of the original cold arrest procedure with the suggested times and temperatures carefully optimized for the culprit. Eradication, in order to eradicate this culprit, in order to get rid of and knock it out and stamp it out. And just keep in mind, remember those numbers. When she said that thousands are passing away, just remember that that's much less than what the flu does in any given cold season. All right. So don't let the numbers scare you. Keep them in perspective. Just do a quick search on how they relate to all the other numbers of everything. All right. So number one, turn your hair dryer to the lowest setting and then cup your fingers over the air intake. And this is going to slow the airflow and increase its output temperature. Okay. So when she says cup your fingers over the air intake, I'm not quite sure if that is the little vent part on the side of the hair dryer. But here's what you can do. I want you to Google hair dryer air intake, and then you'll find out. Number two, with your other hand, use a wet cloth or a spray bottle filled with water to frequently moisten the facial surface around your nose and mouth. The flow of hot air causes the water to evaporate, keeping your face and nose cool while allowing the heat to penetrate. Allowing the heat to penetrate deeply into the nose and sinuses. Take slow, deep breaths through your nose with mouth closed for 5 minutes. Take slow, deep breaths through your nose with your mouth closed for 5 minutes. To minimize any discomfort, turn the blow dryer aside in between breaths so that the warm air is directed toward the face and nose only while inhaling. If the air feels warm, but not hot. If the air feels warm, but not hot, try a higher heat setting. The goal is to raise the inside of the nose and sinuses to the culprit's kill temperature of at least 133 degrees Fahrenheit or 56 degrees Celsius during the entire treatment period. So use the highest temperature you can safely tolerate. Okay, that's common sense, guys. Use the highest temperature that you can safely tolerate. Please keep that in mind. All right. Okay. The back of it maybe, huh, Andrea? Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, possibly, as far as the air intake of the dryer. All right, here's number three. If someone could please comment where I started this, and it's probably, I would say it maybe what, 26 minutes is where I started, number one. Okay, number three, pause between heat applications for about 1 hour. This allows time for the natural movement of the mucus layer within the sinuses to reposition any potentially shielded culprits to a more exposed location where it can be heated and destroyed. So they cannot be hiding. We're not going to let them hide. We're going to find them and we're going to come for them. Okay, I'm going to read number three again. Pause between heat applications for about an hour. This allows time for the natural movement of the mucus layer within your sinuses to reposition any potentially shielded culprits to a more exposed location where it can be heated and destroyed. Thank you so much, Andrea. Number four, after your cooling period, begin another 5-minute hot air treatment. Okay. What is your cooling period? An hour. After your cooling period, after an hour, begin another 5-minute hot air treatment. If no symptoms have appeared, 2 heating cycles per day should be sufficient for prevention. However, if the symptoms have already developed, 3 to 5 of these alternating heating, cooling cycles per day are recommended until your symptoms disappear. So if no symptoms have appeared, 2 heating cycles a day should be enough, okay, if you don't have any symptoms. But if you already started developing symptoms, you're going to need to do this 3 to 5 times per day, okay, until your symptoms disappear. And let me just throw in, continue to take your vitamin C and all the other protocols. All right, that's it. That's 1 through 4, okay? So 1 is put your dryer on the lowest setting, cup your fingers, and allow the airflow to increase its output temperature. Number 2, you're going to use a wet cloth or a spray bottle with the other hand. The spray bottle is going to be filled with water, maybe like distilled drinking water or something like that, right? You don't really want to use tap water on your face. I'm guessing. It's up to you. It's not really a big deal. You want to make sure, number 2, you want to make sure that the surface around your nose and mouth is moist, because we're trying to create humidity here with the air dryer. That's number 2, okay? So you're gonna turn it, she says, turn the air dryer aside if you need to minimize discomfort. And then this way, you're gonna take deep breaths in, but when you inhale, you don't have the air going directly into your breathing passages. All right. So go back and listen to these. And then number 3, pause between your applications for about an hour so that your mucus passages can expose what is trying to hide. It may try to hide. Number 4, do another hot air treatment for 5 minutes after you cool down for about an hour. All right, so you're going to repeat these cycles. You're going to do at least 2 of them per day if you don't have any symptoms and you're trying to do prevention therapy. Otherwise, you're going to do about 3 to 5. Is that what I said? Yep, 3 to 5 alternating heating, cooling cycles if you have symptoms. And you do that until your symptoms disappear. Okay, guys? ESME. Thank ESME. This is all ESME. Okay. If this is widely used as an added prevention step, along with wearing a mask and along with your hand washing, this cold arrest hypothermia therapy has the potential of helping to halt any further spread of this culprit. It offers an important psychological benefit for those who are currently in isolation, quarantine, or lockdown for a prolonged viral incubation period. Instead of just waiting helplessly to see if symptoms develop, patients can take a proactive role by exterminating any culprit that may be present. Thank you, ESME. Thank you, ESME. It's also important to remember that until the end of the current cold and flu season in the Northern Hemisphere, the 400 other known cold-causing viruses, cold-causing culprits, will continue to be active. The symptoms of these other culprits produce, The symptoms these other culprits produce are often indistinguishable. They're often indistinguishable from the culprit that's going around now, okay? So at least in their early stages, you can't distinguish one from the other, which is why when you start having symptoms, you start to try to be proactive and take care of yourself, right? So she said, because of that, these cold causing culprits tend to die in far less time and at even lower temperatures than this main current culprit. It doesn't, they die easier. And so the daily use of the cold arrest procedure can also prevent nearly all other cold causing viral infections as well. This will allow people living in infection zones to avoid the development of any obvious respiratory symptoms that might otherwise cause them to be turned away from stores, businesses, or workplaces. Cold arrest protection can be further enhanced by keeping your immune system strong through getting plenty of rest, right? Sleep, try to sleep 8 hours a day, guys. So plenty of rest. Drinking at least a quart or two of pure water each day, and eating plenty of fruits and vegetables. Physical exhaustion poses a potentially lethal risk for healthcare workers or anyone working long hours in infection zones. Don't risk allowing yourself to become overtired. Do not risk allowing yourself to become overtired. If you are not a nurse or a doctor or a healthcare worker or someone who is working extra long hours in an attempt to contain this or help others who have contracted this, please get your proper amount of rest and do not, overextend yourself, okay? Protect yourself and those around you by getting the proper amounts of rest. Drink water, take vitamin C, eat fruits and vegetables. Try this cold arrest procedure, all right? It's also important to keep the consumption of alcohol as well as any foods containing added sugar as low as possible, since these have been shown in numerous scientific tests to deplete your immune system's resources. Do not overindulge in alcohol. As a matter of fact, it would be good to just avoid it right now. And sugar. I'm not sure how many of you follow me on Facebook at Herbalist July, but I'm telling you, I'm trying to tell you people, when you go grocery shopping and you know you're possibly going to be in the house for a couple of weeks, please remember what happens during the holiday seasons when people overeat and they eat a lot of foods that they don't typically eat, that are heavily weighed down with sugar and all the things that are not the healthiest for us. Remember what happens, everyone gets sick. So it's the same thing with this going on right here. A lot of people are working from home. They have their children home. They are shopping for food to stock up. And when you're in the house, you usually eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. You just eat. So be careful, because you're going to easily infect yourself inside the house. 9 times out of 10, a lot of us already have the virus inside our homes. So you need to be using the hand sanitizer to clean, or you can use sanitizing wipes to clean. Do what you have to do to clean, and also clean your nasal passages with this cold arrest procedure, okay? But don't keep reinfecting yourselves or allowing your immune system to get weak by the way you're eating. So keep your consumption of alcohol to a minimum. or while this is going on, maybe none at all, right? Your sugar too. Especially avoid the ultra high risk behavior of smoking or vaping for as long as the outbreak threat continues. Though this culprit appears to produce only mild common cold symptoms in most patients, those with compromised lungs appear to be at the greatest risk for complications that could possibly lead to fatality. So what is that telling you? If you already have compromised lungs, if you're already someone who smokes or vapes, or you're around someone who constantly smokes, who vapes, you don't get the ventilation that you need at work possibly, or you're around people or you live with someone, you have to be careful. If you're already compromised in your respiratory system, those ones are more susceptible to higher risk of fatality. So please be careful, okay? And please share this information, guys. Let's see here. What page am I on here? So it says here that the health professionals are urged to use the cold arrest procedure to speed the recovery of their existing patients and to prevent further infection in others as well as themselves. I'm getting tongue-tied. I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied here. Health professionals are urged to use the cold arrest procedure to speed the recovery of their existing patients and to prevent further infection in others as well as themselves. And everyone under quarantine, as well as those living in infection zones,